Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy, the Strongest Wizard, and tonight is indeed Fight Night, and we have ourselves another OP07 match. This one's a bit unique here. We are at Collector Legion in SoCal, and we are very excited to talk about this because this is a store regional, and it is very, very exciting. We have Rob Lucci on the left-hand side. We have Monkey D. Luffy on the right, and the stakes are high. Top 4 get their nationals invites, and first place gets a sweet Katakuri alternate art character that we all know already. We swing 5k into life, we counter out of it, we swing 5k into life, and we actually take it from the Garp pause, and we are swinging 5k over the character. And quick shout out to today's sponsor, which is DXN Outpost, DXN Provisions, the only place where I get all my sealed product as well as my singles. And guys, on their site right now, they have some really good cards as well on there, like the singles and packs I was talking about. So if you're interested in some One Piece cards, check out the link below. So we see a 6k swing going into life. If you did not see, we played that Rebecca, and then we played the 4-cost Kuzan, a character that is kind of common in Black Yellow Luffy. Some players opt to use it, some don't. I know it's obviously really great for the green matchup to kind of get rid of the bigger characters, but it's also really good just for a free cycle, the free draw. But we see the removal, the finger pistol, I believe is what it's called. And I do apologize in advance because of the layout. This is obviously just a wee bit makeshift, just because I don't normally shoot at this shop, so I am very, very happy that Collector Legion was able to let me shoot. Shout out to my boy Jose for helping me out with this angle and all that really good stuff. A huge asset and a huge help. But this deck is currently sitting out of frame, and the reason why is because these cloth mats are just a little bit wider than normal. So I did not expect that to happen. I kind of left too early after that, so I do apologize to everybody for the camera angle and how close it kind of is. But we see the flop pay coming down. We're gonna go ahead and accelerate our life just a little bit. We're gonna draw a card off of it as well, and then now we see the 1-cost event card coming down, searching top 5 for one of the 3 brothers here, and of course it can be a kid character or one of the adult characters. We're gonna go ahead and see which one exactly is, kind of help us get our pieces. And we see the Sabo, the 5-cost Sabo, one of the main key pieces of this deck and this matchup. And the reason why is, 1, you get to cycle your cards to make sure that you get all of your pieces, and you kind of dump the ones that you need in trash. 2, Rob Lucci can't pop anything. So the fact that Rob Lucci can't KO anything, they're left in a situation where what can they do? Essentially nothing. Essentially, Rob Lucci is just there to build a huge board and go up against your characters toward the very end. Just go for life, and it's, you know, it's pretty good, right? So we see this Bandam coming down, a complete whiff. You hate to see it, but you did see that Brook, which is very, very unique here, as well as this Khalifa. The Khalifa hard play is something I do agree with. Rob Lucci loves to mill all of their really good cards. So Khalifa allows you to just draw 2 trash to you, which isn't too bad. Yes, it's a 2k counter, but you get to cycle, right? So we see the Tempest Kick as well to draw us a card. And now my boy Rob Lucci here only has 4 to 5 cards in hand. A little low, just because we did play that Khalifa. She doesn't replace herself. She just makes her hand look a bit nicer. It doesn't actually replace a card that we put down. So going back to Luffy here, we should be at, I believe, 7 Dawn now. 7 Dawn or 9 Dawn? Not sure. Probably 7. Pretty sure it's 7. This is obviously a pretty big thing turn. I think we're at a position here where we could relatively go down to 1 life, and we wouldn't be afraid at all, actually. Or we can actually take it slow. Really depends on how this Luffy player plays it, as well as what's in his hand. Oftentimes, I feel like depending on what's in the hand, like if he has no adult characters or no kid characters, he just wants to spend more time trying to get all those pieces. So by the time we go down to 0, or we get down to 1 where we're forced to go down to 0, we can actually make those plays and feel a lot more comfortable doing so, right? So, of course, this Sabo is still on the board, and it does not have protection anymore, so you definitely don't want it to go to waste. Most likely, this Rob Lucci will end up removing it by the returning turn. So, yeah, I mean, Luffy has a ton of different plays, as well as the Rocket Luffy, the OP07 Luffy that we just got brand new in the set, is a great card in this matchup to pop all of the Rebeccas as well as his Khalifas. Only problem is you got to be at 2 life or less, and right now we're sitting at 3. So only reason why I mentioned it is because we do know that this Luffy player does have one in hand, because we were able to kind of like peek through a little bit. So Taking a look at our trash here, which is a huge resource here, and we're going to go ahead and see exactly what this Luffy player wants to do. We see from the camera angle that he has quite a few options, honestly, and it looks like it's going to be the 5-cost Star Deck 13 Luffy here. We're going to use the ability here to trash our top life and draw a card. And yes, he does become an 8K. Doesn't really matter too much when it's standing against his matchup, because it's probably going to get removed anyways if we don't see a Sabo. And based on our Dawn, only way we play Sabo now is if we play Makino or something like that. But we're going to go ahead and swing a big 5 with the Flambe and leaving Sabo open, not Sanji, Sabo. Leaving Sabo active. Not too sure why we kind of leave Sabo active. It's probably going to get removed anyways. I feel like I would have swung 5-5-6 if we really wanted to, or we could have even swung like 7-8. Both would have been great, honestly. But it looks like we're going to go ahead and swing a 5K into this Flambe. We're going to mill 2. We're milling a Rebecca. Not too bad. We're going to -1 off of that 5-cost Luffy. Using stage ability here, we're going to make that Luffy a 2-cost. That Luffy is a 2-cost. I'm not sure why it exactly took me so long. Sometimes I get confused with Tempest Kick and the stage where it's -2 or -3. Just something kind of funny. But it looks like we're going to go ahead and think about how we want to remove these bodies off the board. Of course, black has always been a mathematical problem here, trying to figure out the situation, the sequencing and all that really good stuff. So let's figure it out here. We're gonna go ahead and play another stage. So this stage is gonna make Sabo a 3-cost character, and now we have the Gecko Moria bringing out Rebecca as well as Suru. Suru's gonna make that Sabo a 1-cost, and now that Rebecca is gonna go ahead and pull a card out of the trash. What do we have? We have the Spandine. Spandine's gonna replace Spandam, and we're gonna go ahead and probably play out the Lucci. We're gonna bottom deck 3 CP cards first, of course, and it looks like we're gonna go ahead and grab the Rob Lucci, and this is gonna go ahead and pop both those characters. And of course, we can't forget to bottom 3 cards as well. Doesn't have to be CP cards, just any 3 cards. So yeah, unfortunately getting punished off of that. I mean, yeah, we missed out on a free 6K swing, but regardless, it's not too bad. So we are finally at our 10 Dawn, but we have 2 life. So unfortunately, we can't play Gecko Moria if we really want to, but it would be a Value Moria. And in this deck, Value Moria just doesn't hit the same. It doesn't hit the same as like if it was in, Gecko Moria or a Rob Lucci deck. It don't feel the same. So yeah, we have a couple options, and if you look at Luffy's hand, it looked like we had a Thunderbolt. We do. Now that is a possibility. We can Thunderbolt the Khalifa or the Rebecca away, allow us to swing into life, as well as possibly hit the Rob Lucci. Really depends what Luffy wants to do here. I think we could stay at 2. We could stay at 2, even though this board is getting a little out of control here because of that Gecko Moria allowing us to grab 3 cards out of trash. But I don't think it's too bad. So Luffy here taking a little read at this 5-cost Luffy, making sure that we can still use it since we are at 2 life. We're going to go ahead and tap 5 here to play it out. And we're actually going to pop the Khalifa, not the Lucci. Very interesting here. So we're going to go ahead and pop the Khalifa. Maybe we might swing into the Lucci, but no, we're swinging 5K into life. We're gonna go ahead and block it with the Rebecca. We're gonna go ahead and tap 5 here for a Sabo, and then we're gonna draw 2 trash 2, possibly kind of forcing Lucci to swing into life is why we left it up and why we chose not to pop it, remove it. Very, very interesting here. So Monkey D. Luffy here, just kind of drawing 2 trash and 2 and seeing what he doesn't need, and we will most likely just pass here. Yeah, we're passing the turn, and honestly, we feel pretty good about this turn. We have 2 life, we have 1 blocker, they have pretty much 3 attackers. So if they were to really go all in on this 1 turn, it wouldn't really amount to anything. So we swing an easy 5K swing into life, and we take this pretty easily here. And now we're spreading our Dawn just a little bit, trying to figure out the math here. And it looks like we're going to go ahead and take a look at our opponent's trash to see what we're missing. What does he have already? If you were to start looping us, what does he need, right? So Obviously, this is a pretty big crucial turn, and I mentioned before the stakes are pretty high. So we're going to go ahead and drop the 4-cost Lucci and then pass the turn with 6 active Dawn. That's incredible. That's a lot of Dawn. And we leave our opponent at 1 just because they can't, there's no way for them to play Moria and put 2 into life anymore. So now we are forced to play a 2k counter character, which we are going to see right now. That is Flampe. And the reason why we're forced to do so is because they have too many attackers. If they were to go in on the following turn, they would just either take a ton of cards out of us, or they just win the game, right? So we are going to add 2 onto this leader, kind of signifying that we are going to put 2 from trash into life. Obviously, that's something that we have to do. And with our Dawn, the way it's spread out, we have a couple kid characters that we can rely on. Now we just need to make sure that the kid characters in our hand are aligned with what's in our trash, right? So we're going to use ability here to put the Sabo as well as the Ace into life. And I really love this Ace right now. I think that card is extremely good, extremely relevant here in a lot of matchups. So we're going to make our leader 7k off of that Ace. And now we see the Kid Sabo coming down, making that leader into a 9k leader, drawing 2 trash into getting a little bit of cycle in. And we still have 3 active Dawn. So we have the Sabo as well as the Ace that still can swing. And it looks like we might swing a bit heavy here. Let's see how exactly we want to attack here. We're swinging 7k into life. Sure, 7k into life. This is 2 cards to give him a Kaku as well as a Suru. And now we have 2 active Dawn. This can be a 9 and 11 attack, which would be a lot of aggression here. And yeah, I like to see it. 9k swing going into life, 11k swing going into life. They both connect, and then we pass the turn. Now, this Rob Lucci definitely can swing pretty heavy into life. The only issue is we need a blocker up. If we swing into life here really aggressive, we're kind of just saying that we're kind of going all in here, right? There's a lot of aggression on the board right now, and even though we would get for sure rid of a Sabo that we have on the board as active, we still have a ton of cards in Luffy's hand. I think we just counted like 6 or 7 cards in hand, and for Luffy with all that cycle, they probably have plenty of counter in their hand. So 7k going into the Ace, trying to get some removal, get some cards out of their hand. We do get a counter, and now we see a 7k swing once again going into Ace, and it looks like we did end up attacking with Lucci just because to get some minus cost on one of those characters here. And now we see a 9k swing. We're gonna go ahead and block it here, and now we have the Gecko Moria, another Gecko Moria getting another Rebecca, and the Rebecca is gonna go ahead and grab us a Spandam? Yep, Spandam. This is a value Moria. We just want some more cards in our hand. We only have the Rebecca blocker up, which is something to be a concern. Unfortunately, we only get Tempest Kick, which has obviously no counter, but the Rebecca is going to go ahead and grab us a card. And what can we get here? We get the Spandine. Okay, Spandine, we're going to grab a Lucci. But first things first, we have to bottom deck 3 CP cards. We're going to go ahead and bottom those 3 CP cards. And let's see what we find. We find the Khalifa, the one that we sent out earlier into trash. We're going to draw 2 and trash 2, and I love this play. This lets us get rid of our cards in our hand that doesn't have any counter, like the Tempest Kick that we saw, as well as the Gecko Moria. And it looks like we're going to go ahead and pass the turn. Now, this is very, very scary. If you're Lucci right now, you're pretty scared because we only have Rebecca. There's no Sabo, there's nothing to protect us. If we can get Rocket Luffy on the board to remove this Rebecca, that's a lot of pressure that we can deal with here. So we're going to go ahead and attach 2, signifying that we are going to use leader ability this turn, and we're going to go ahead and pitch a card, grab a Sabo as well as the Rocket Luffy that I was just mentioning here. And let's see, do we have a Moria or do we have the kid characters? The kid characters allow us to swing harder on these attacks, but no, we're going with the Moria turn here, Moria play. Bring out the kid Luffy, and then as well as the Sabo. Leader becomes 7, Luffy comes out. Luffy ability, we're going to go ahead and KO the Rebecca, draw us a card, play out the Sabo, draw 2, trash 2, and now we have a 7k, 6k, as well as 11k on the board. 7k into life, we need 2 cards. Do you have 2 cards for us? Yes, we do. We swing 11k into life, and we have a trigger? Yes, 0 cost event card. I think this is King Pistol, I believe. I believe that's just a draw card. Trigger. Draw card or cycle 1. Not too sure. Pretty sure it's a draw card though. Yeah, choosing not to swing with the Sabo is something I agree with, just because we have 2 Gecko Warriors on the board, and that can be pretty frightening. And I think Rob Lucci has to go for game here. I don't think they have honestly an option or a choice. But we're swinging 9K into lead. No, into ace actually. Wow. Okay, so swinging into ace. We have, of course, 10 Dawn, and can we survive another turn? I think that just tells us that we're trying to survive another turn, right? So 9K swing into the Luffy here. This is 1K counter. We're going to go ahead and counter that out. And now we see the Enies Lobby onto one of these Sabos, and we see the Brook coming down to remove a Sabo, not KO, send it to trash, and now we see a 9K swing going down with no blocker up. This is a 19K swing going into life, and Luffy takes it. Thank you guys so much for checking out this channel, this video. I really do appreciate it, and stay tuned because I have a ton of new OPO7 content coming out soon. See ya!